have destroyed a woman's life and her hopes for any future children. Is this what it means to be pro-life? We'll get into that in the third hour of the program as well. So my op-ed today, published over at HartmannReport.com, is titled "The GOP's Evil Plans for the Little Maid and Fascism Have Surfaced." Really what this is about is how it's not possible to run to the right of Trump. Donald Trump is running as an open fascist. And you know, if you're going to run against an open fascist and you're going to try to run to his right, which is what the Trump base, what the GOP base is demanding, then you have to run as a dictator. I mean, if you're going to run as Putin or Orban, or if your opponent is running as Putin or Orban, which is exactly what Donald Trump is doing, then, and you're going to run against him to the right, you have to run as Mohammed bin Salman or China's President Xi. I mean, you've got to run as an absolute dictator who does not respond to the will of the people at all, but who dictates the will of the people. I mean, keep in mind, Putin was repeatedly elected, as was Hitler. I mean, you know, the fascism does not deny the possibility of having elections. I think we just saw that in Turkey, in fact. That, you know, in Turkey, Erdogan has taken complete control of the media. He's had complete control of the media for about 15 years now, maybe a little longer. I'd have to look, somewhere in that neighborhood. And, you know, ever since he declared his state of emergency, when there was the attempted military coup. And even with 100% control of the media in Turkey and his opponents in jail, by and large, he was seriously challenged. I mean, this is how much people don't want fascism. But nonetheless, you know, he won the election, and he won the election based on basically bashing gay people and promoting his Muslim identity shtick, which is, you know, what Trump and DeSantis and Pence and all these guys are doing with their Christian identity shtick. And it's essentially the same thing. But this is why Ron DeSantis has been doing what he's been doing in Florida. He's trying to run to the right of Trump. He's trying to prove that Trump was an ineffective dictator and that DeSantis will be an effective dictator. It's why he's destroyed tens of thousands of Florida jobs in his war against Disney. It's why he's launched a Jeremiad against queer people and given every hater and bigot in the state the ability to carry a concealed weapon without even getting a permit. I mean, he appears to believe that he can basically, well, actually, I think both he and Trump believe that no matter what they say or do, if they become elected president, it will be the last free and fair election in American history. And it's why they're behaving like they can say or do anything. I mean, this is the playbook that was used by Mussolini, by Pinochet, by Hitler, and this is what Trump and DeSantis are running for. And by the way, there's a worldwide movement of this rise of neo-fascism. It is happening in countries all over the world. Yesterday in Nature, in the magazine Nature, there was a whole piece about how in India, they are excluding from textbooks evolution. They're taking evolution out of textbooks across the entire country of India. Why? Because Modi is running as a Hindu nationalist, or is governing actually now as one. So the big question that we're facing now and going toward the election is that authoritarian embracing Republican constituency large enough? Actually, let me back up a little bit. First off, it appears that the only way that the Republican Party is going to end up with a non-authoritarian leader, a Mitt Romney kind of leader, somebody who actually believes in democracy, even if their policies are not something that you and I would agree with. You know, they like a democracy, they just don't want Social Security and Medicare to exist. And I mean, you know, keep in mind, George W. Bush has already pretty much destroyed Medicare. More than half of Medicare now is private insurance. It's called Medicare Advantage. It's no longer real Medicare, and people get screwed when they switch to Medicare Advantage, to so-called Medicare Part C. So, we've got this, we're already going down this road. But the question is, number one, how can anybody run to the right of Donald Trump? You can't. Which means that it would basically take a black swan event for somebody like, for example, Mike Pence or Chris Christie, somebody who actually still believes in elections, still believes in democracy, just doesn't like policy the way that you and I would, for them to win the Republican nomination. Which raises the second question, which I say is really the big question, which is assuming that the Republican Party actually nominates a right-wing fascist, whether it's Trump or DeSantis or somebody else who's running. I mean, there's a number of other people who have not yet thrown their hat in the ring, who I think would very much fall into that category. Assuming that the Republican Party nominates an open fascist for president, is there a large enough constituency in the United States to elect such a person president of the United States? Now, I'm skeptical of that, but I'm not willing to write it off. Again, Erdogan just got elected in Turkey. Now, he had a certain advantage. Basically, all Turkish media is like Fox News here. And here it's just, we've got Fox, and CNN is swinging hard to the right. But, it's not, all of our media has not been taken off. People like me in Turkey are in jail right now. People like me in the Philippines are in jail. People like me in many countries around in China, in Russia, they're all in jail. We're not quite there yet, but, we've got Twitter and Facebook algorithms pushing right-wing stuff really, really hard. Elon Musk is in China right now for God only knows why. Well, actually Tesla does a lot of business in China, and is kowtowing to dictators all around the world. Where do we go with this? How does America recover from a Republican nominee who is an open fascist? Will this election, this upcoming election, will it be the end of the rise of fascism in America? Or is it the beginning of the end of America itself? Now, I have to tell you, I am actually somewhat optimistic. I believe that it may well be the end of the rise of fascism, but I'm not totally confident of it. What say you?